Welcome to this comprehensive and deeply insightful video on the 9 toxic behaviors you should never tolerate, viewed through the lens of Stoic philosophy to help you cultivate healthy relationships and protect your emotional well-being. In this video, we will explore the nature of these harmful patterns, understand why they are detrimental, and most importantly, learn how to apply Stoic principles to set firm boundaries and maintain inner peace. Whether you are navigating romantic partnerships, friendships, family connections, or even professional interactions, recognizing and addressing toxicity is crucial to your long-term mental and emotional health. Throughout this video, we will blend ancient wisdom from the likes of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus with contemporary psychological research and relationship insights drawn from reputable sources such as the Gottman Institute, the American Psychological Association, and various peer-reviewed journals that investigate the outcomes of unhealthy interpersonal dynamics. By the end of this video, you will have the practical Stoic tools needed to respond calmly and rationally to toxic behaviors, reinforced by credible data and grounded in philosophical resilience techniques, so you can confidently protect your boundaries, preserve your self-respect, and cultivate truly supportive and meaningful bonds. To begin, it is essential to understand what constitutes toxic behavior in relationships and why these patterns are so harmful. Toxic behaviors can be defined as actions or communication patterns that consistently undermine trust, stability, mutual respect, or emotional safety. They are often insidious, beginning subtly and escalating over time until one's self-esteem, sense of reality, and overall well-being are eroded. According to relationship research by the Gottman Institute, certain negative interaction patterns, such as contempt, criticism, stonewalling, and defensiveness, are predictive of long-term dissatisfaction and even relationship dissolution. Studies in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence highlight that emotional abuse, a subset of toxicity, can have long-lasting psychological repercussions, including anxiety, depression, and lowered self-worth. But you are not powerless against these harmful patterns. Stoicism, an ancient school of philosophy founded in the Hellenistic period and developed through the writings of Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, teaches that one should focus on what is within their control and detach from what lies outside it. Emotions, thoughts, and values are within your control, while other people's actions, opinions, and manipulations are not. By adopting a Stoic perspective, you can approach toxic behaviors with calmness, clarity, and emotional resilience, setting boundaries and refusing to internalize harmful conduct. Before diving into the 9 toxic behaviors, let's set the stage by summarizing how Stoic philosophy can guide us in handling relationship challenges. Stoicism emphasizes virtue, reason, and self-mastery. By practicing Stoic techniques, such as premeditatio malorum, a mental exercise in anticipating difficulties, journaling emotions to clarify thoughts, and differentiating between what you can and cannot control, you can maintain a state of inner tranquility, even when facing external turmoil. This approach aligns surprisingly well with modern psychology's emphasis on mindfulness, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, techniques, and emotional intelligence, all of which encourage you to respond rather than react, to process your feelings thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Stoicism teaches that your worth does not depend on someone else's opinions or actions, and that by setting clear boundaries, you take ownership of your emotional integrity. With this philosophical toolkit at hand, let's identify 9 common toxic behaviors you should never tolerate in any relationship, while integrating Stoic strategies to refuse them and rebuild healthier dynamics. The first toxic behavior is emotional manipulation. Emotional manipulation occurs when someone uses guilt, fear, obligation, or subtle coercion to control your decisions, feelings, or perceptions. This can manifest as constant guilt trips, statements like "if me, you would do this for me," or You're selfish for not agreeing with me, or as veiled threats that pressure you into compliance. According to the American Psychological Association, emotional manipulation distorts a person's sense of autonomy, leaving them confused and less confident in their own judgment. From a Stoic perspective, your internal sense of virtue and moral choice is paramount. You cannot control the manipulator's tactics, but you can control your response. When you sense emotional manipulation, pause and observe your feelings. Are you anxious, defensive, or confused? Remember that you owe no one your compliance if their demands undermine your well-being. Respond calmly with a clear boundary. I understand that's what you want, but I need time to think this through. By affirming your autonomy, you refuse to play their emotional game. Over time, consistent boundary setting can deter future manipulation attempts or help you recognize when it's time to walk away. The second toxic behavior is gaslighting, one of the most corrosive forms of emotional abuse. Gaslighting involves denying your reality, twisting facts, or making you doubt your own perceptions and memories. Over time, victims of gaslighting may lose trust in their own judgment, becoming increasingly dependent on the abuser's version of events. Research shows that gaslighting can lead to severe anxiety, depression, and a profound sense of confusion. Stoicism teaches the importance of anchoring oneself in objective reality. Keep written records or personal notes to verify facts. Epictetus encourages us to adhere to truth and reason, refusing to be swayed by external distortions. When confronted with gaslighting, calmly state what you know to be true. I remember this clearly, and I trust my memory. If the gaslighter persists, recognize that their actions are outside your control. Your power lies in maintaining your grip on reality. Do not engage in pointless debates. A Stoic approach means caring more about preserving your understanding of reality than winning an argument. If necessary, consult a trusted friend, therapist, or reliable third-party source to validate your experiences. This external confirmation, combined with your inner rationality, can protect you from the psychological damage gaslighting inflicts. The third toxic behavior is constant criticism and contempt. A person who incessantly criticizes you or treats you with contempt is eroding the foundations of respect and love. According to the Gottman Institute's research, contempt, mockery, sarcasm, name-calling is one of the most telling predictors of relationship failure. Over time, endless criticism chips away at your self-esteem and leaves you feeling inadequate. Stoicism advises a clear-eyed assessment of criticism. Is it constructive or destructive? Seneca suggests that one should welcome feedback that leads to self-improvement, but reject insults that aim solely to harm. If someone belittles you routinely, do not internalize their words. Practice detachment by reminding yourself, their words reflect their character, not mine. You may calmly say, I'm open to productive feedback, but I will not engage with insults. If the other person cannot communicate respectfully, consider whether maintaining the relationship is beneficial. Your emotional well-being should never be held hostage by someone's contempt, and a Stoic approach helps you stand firm, acknowledging only criticism that fosters growth and discarding the rest as irrelevant noise. The fourth toxic behavior is stonewalling and withholding communication. This occurs when someone refuses to talk, listen, or engage in meaningful dialogue, using silence as a weapon to avoid accountability or punish you. The silent treatment undermines trust and creates insecurity, as you never know where you stand. Research in relationship psychology shows that stonewalling is deeply damaging, leaving you feeling isolated and unheard. From a Stoic standpoint, you cannot force someone to communicate sincerely. You can control your own response. When faced with stonewalling, calmly state your desire for open communication. I value honest discussion, and I'm here when you're ready to speak openly. Then, let go of any attempt to extract a response. Focus on what you can control: your emotional stability. Journal your feelings. Reflect on what a healthy dialogue should look like. and consider if this relationship respects your emotional needs. Over time, persistent stonewalling may signal that the person does not respect your well-being. Stoicism can guide you to accept this reality and take appropriate steps, which may include distancing yourself or seeking outside help to navigate the impasse. The fifth toxic behavior is public humiliation. When someone mocks, belittles, or shames you in front of others, they undermine your dignity and self-worth. Public humiliation can create lasting psychological scars, making you feel vulnerable and powerless. A Stoic approach reminds you that external judgment is beyond your control, and your true character is not defined by someone's attempt to shame you. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about ignoring the opinions of those who lack virtue. When humiliated publicly, resist the urge to respond with anger or humiliation in return. Instead, calmly state that their behavior is unacceptable. I'm not comfortable with being spoken to that way. If the situation allows, remove yourself from the environment. Remember that no outward spectacle can diminish your inner virtue. By prioritizing your dignity over the crowd's perception, you reclaim power. Over time, those who rely on public humiliation may lose their grip on you once they realize you cannot be easily shaken from your principled stance. The sixth toxic behavior is control over your personal choices. This includes attempts to dictate how you spend your time, who you see, what you wear, or how you spend your money. Control in this manner is a sign of imbalance and disrespect, signaling that the other person does not trust your autonomy. Such controlling behaviors, documented in studies on psychological abuse, can escalate to more severe forms of manipulation and isolation. Stoicism teaches self-ownership. You are the guardian of your own soul and actions. When someone tries to control your choices, respond by reaffirming your independence. I make my own decisions based on my values and needs. Stay calm, yet firm. Recognize that their need to control stems from their own insecurity or fear, which is not your responsibility. If control persists, consider whether the relationship aligns with your vision of mutual respect. A relationship that requires your subservience is not rooted in health or growth. Stoicism allows you to remain grounded, acting from a place of integrity and refusing to surrender your freedom. The seventh toxic behavior is chronic lying or deception. A person who habitually lies destroys trust, the foundation of any meaningful bond. Without honesty, there can be no genuine connection. Research shows that repeated deception leads to deep insecurity, anxiety, and confusion. Stoicism places a high value on truth and virtue. Epictetus would remind us that what matters is aligning ourselves with reality rather than falsehood. When faced with chronic lying, make it clear that honesty is non-negotiable. Our relationship requires honesty. Without it, I cannot trust or feel safe. If the lying continues, the Stoic path guides you to accept that you cannot change another's character, only your response. Refuse to let their falsehoods define your sense of reality. It may be necessary to distance yourself, seeking out relationships that uphold truth as a shared value. In doing so, you protect your mental well-being and preserve your sense of integrity. The eighth toxic behavior is a refusal to take responsibility. This might manifest as someone always blaming external factors, circumstances, other people, or even you for their mistakes or failures. Such a pattern erodes accountability and growth within the relationship, leaving you to carry the burden of their issues. According to psychological research, taking responsibility is integral to conflict resolution and personal development. Stoicism teaches that we should own our actions and their consequences. When another refuses to do so, calmly highlight that everyone must take responsibility for their choices. I understand mistakes happen, but accountability is essential for our trust and respect. If they persist in shifting blame, recognize that their behavior is outside your control. You can control your presence in the relationship, your willingness to keep trying, or your decision to step away. By adhering to the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within your sphere of control, your reaction, your decisions, rather than futilely trying to force another's accountability. You maintain your mental and emotional balance. The ninth toxic behavior is isolation from your support network. When someone discourages or prevents you from seeing friends, family, or mentors, they are cutting you off from essential sources of emotional nourishment and perspective. Isolation is often a tactic of abusers, aiming to weaken your external support so you become more dependent on them. The National Domestic Violence Hotline warns that isolation is a red flag for more severe forms of abuse. A Stoic approach recognizes the importance of community and honest counsel. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the interconnectedness of humanity and the value of supportive friendships. If someone tries to isolate you, stand firm. My relationships with friends and family are important to me, and I will continue to maintain them. If your refusal triggers conflict, remember that you control your decision to keep in contact with loved ones. Do not concede your social freedom for the sake of appeasing a manipulator. Your wider support network can provide clarity, refuge, and validation, helping you remain resilient against these toxic pressures. After identifying these 9 toxic behaviors: emotional manipulation, gaslighting, constant criticism, stonewalling, public humiliation, controlling behavior, chronic lying, refusal to take responsibility, and isolation, we must consider how to apply Stoic techniques to protect our well-being. A Stoic's Guide to Healthy Relationships emphasizes mindfulness, self-reflection, and rational action. Techniques like journaling your daily experiences, noting what triggered discomfort or confusion, and how you responded, can help you develop emotional intelligence and spot patterns. Practicing premeditatio malorum. You might imagine a scenario in which a loved one criticizes you publicly. By mentally rehearsing a calm, principled response, you reduce the chance of being caught off guard. Another powerful Stoic exercise involves the dichotomy of control. List what aspects of a situation you can influence: your words, your decision to stay or leave, your choice of calm or anger, and what you cannot: their behavior, their willingness to listen. This clarity empowers you to invest energy only where it can make a difference: your internal state and your chosen actions. In addition to Stoic principles, it's helpful to bolster your stance with empirical evidence and professional guidance. Research shows that setting clear boundaries reduces stress and promotes healthier dynamics. A study in the Journal of Family Psychology found that clear communication and enforced boundaries correlate positively with well-being and relationship satisfaction. If the toxicity persists despite your best efforts, seeking help from a qualified therapist or counselor who can provide coping strategies, validation, and conflict resolution techniques is wise. The American Psychological Association and the Gottman Institute's resources can guide you toward effective communication methods, such as I statements, expressing your feelings without blaming, or learning de-escalation techniques to prevent heated conflicts. If the behavior borders on or becomes outright abuse, contacting organizations like the National Domestic Violence Hotline provides immediate support and resources, as your safety and well-being must always be the top priority. Real-life examples can illustrate the profound transformation that occurs when one applies Stoicism to refuse toxic behaviors. Imagine a person who once accepted constant criticism, believing they needed to prove their worth to a demanding partner. After studying Stoic texts and consulting a therapist, they learn to recognize that their partner's contempt is not about their worth, but a reflection of the partner's character flaws. By calmly stating boundaries, "I will not engage in conversations laced with insults," and refusing to justify their worth, they notice a shift. The partner either adapts, learning respectful communication, or they drift apart. In either case, the individual emerges stronger, having protected their dignity and affirmed their self-respect. Another scenario might be someone plagued by gaslighting, who keeps a daily journal of events. When confronted with denial, They refer to their notes, confidently resisting the false narrative. Over time, the gaslighter loses power, and the victim regains confidence, reaffirming their grasp on reality. These success stories underscore that Stoicism isn't about passivity or stoic tolerance of abuse. It's about calmly asserting boundaries, upholding virtue, and refusing to accept what you know to be harmful and untrue. As we move toward the conclusion of this video, it's important to understand that refusing toxic behaviors is not merely about eliminating negativity. It's also about creating space for healthier, more nourishing connections. By clearing away toxicity, you make room for relationships built on honesty, mutual respect, empathy, and support. Stoicism provides a stable inner framework that allows you to engage authentically with others. Rather than feeling helpless, you become proactive, discerning what strengthens you and what depletes you. Instead of being driven by fear, obligation, or confusion, you act from a place of inner stability, guided by wisdom and self-respect. Over time, you'll find that toxic individuals either fade away or change their patterns as they realize their tactics no longer work on someone who stands firm in their values. Now that you've learned how to identify these 9 toxic behaviors and have a toolkit of Stoic strategies at your disposal, consider taking action to improve your relationships and your life. Reflect on your interactions and ask, are you tolerating behaviors that erode your peace of mind or sense of self-worth? Identify one toxic pattern you've been overlooking and plan a Stoic response. It might be as simple as refusing to engage with a manipulative argument or setting a boundary such as, I will leave the conversation if insults begin. These steps, small at first, gradually build your confidence and personal integrity. If you need professional help to navigate these issues, do not hesitate to seek therapy or counseling. Professionals trained in relationship dynamics, CBT, or trauma-informed care can offer personalized strategies and emotional support. Resources like the Gottman Institute's workshops or the National Domestic Violence Hotline can provide immediate assistance if needed. Implementing these insights not only safeguards your emotional well-being, but also encourages others to treat you with the respect and consideration you deserve. In healthy relationships, both parties feel seen, heard, and valued. Stoicism ensures that you stand tall in the face of disrespect and remain anchored in virtue and reason. Instead of feeling trapped or victimized, you become an agent of change in your own life. When you combine the wisdom of the ancient Stoics with modern psychological research, you gain a powerful framework for personal growth and relationship integrity. Finally, let's end this video with a call to action that fosters engagement, personal growth, and community support. If you found value in these insights, we encourage you to put them into practice. Start by journaling your experiences, noting when a boundary-setting moment arises. Share your journey or insights with friends who may also benefit, as spreading knowledge empowers others to refuse toxicity and grow stronger together. You can engage further by leaving comments, asking questions, or contributing your own success stories with Stoic approaches. If possible, subscribe for more in-depth discussions on Stoicism and relationships, and feel free to connect with a community of like-minded individuals who support each other in cultivating healthier, more respectful interactions. By doing so, you help create an environment that promotes collective growth, understanding, and emotional resilience. In the end, remember that maintaining healthy relationships isn't about controlling others or never encountering negativity. It's about learning to respond to challenging behaviors with grace, wisdom, and firmness. Through Stoicism, you understand that your inner life belongs to you, and external circumstances do not have the final say on your state of mind. Once you fully embrace these teachings, toxic behaviors lose their grip. By naming them, refusing them, and choosing more wholesome connections, you become the architect of a life defined by genuine respect, fulfilling companionship, and unwavering personal integrity. The journey may be challenging, but the reward, authentic, supportive, and growth-oriented relationships, is well worth the effort. Let this video serve as a guide on your path to inner strength, emotional freedom, and the healthy relationships you deserve.